Hey, good afternoon, Facebook world. This is Coach Bill with Weight Loss Made Easy. Hope everybody's having a great afternoon so far. This is the day after the New Year, so obviously 2019 is here. I think this will be my first video of 2019. So hopefully this is going to be a good video for you guys with some great information on it. Well, guys, we all know that whenever the new year comes along, people always have New Year's resolution, and the top resolution is obviously to get back into shape because of summertime. They want to get ready for summer. And I'm sure a lot of you have thought about that a couple days before the end of 2018. What kind of a game plan are you going to do to get yourself back into shape for the summer, to go to the river or to go to the beaches, or just for your own self to see, to keep yourself in shape and healthy? I'm sure a lot of you thought about that. Well, guys, most of you know this, that the majority of the public, or the majority of the people that set goals for 2019 to lose that weight will most likely all fail. And this is not a new story. This is an old story because it happens year in and year out. That people get excited, they go online, they look for the best meal plans, they look for the best diet plans or exercising plans, and they're listening to all these gurus out there that are diet experts, and they look at all these different plans, they pick the one that they think will work for them. They try it for a month or two or three. At first they get results, so they're excited, they found their plan, and then all of a sudden their legs get cut out right from underneath them, because the body's not stupid, especially if you're following the Western style diet plan that most of you will probably follow, and will most likely fail, because the body will eventually plateau out. You'll stop losing the weight. All of a sudden you're going to lessen your calories, and you're going to add more cardio, and you're going to start gaining weight, and you're panicking, and you're confused, and you're frustrated. And besides, those Western diets, they don't work because they're not addressing the root cause of why you gained your weight in the first place. So what does that mean? You got cravings. You got cravings for bread. You got cravings for starches. You got cravings for sugar, because you have not controlled the hormones that are causing those cravings. And that's why you need, I'm going to say it, guys, you need a coach. You need somebody that will be able to take you, actually explain and help you get through and give you a plan that actually is designed to work, and that's actually shown by science to work. Those of you that have tried this before in the past, you've done it over and over and again, you know what I'm talking about. They just do not work. Well, today, guys, Emily and I have a program. It's a 90-day online personal coaching. We have 3 very, very powerful protocols that when you combine all 3 of them together, it's a way for you guys to be successful, to lose that belly fat or body fat, to get in shape for summer. And it's a lifestyle, and it's a life change. It'll actually change your body for life, along with your health. And so what we do is we educate our clients step by step, and we give them a game plan, an actual game plan. And that includes recipes. That includes an outline of what foods to eat. Now, today, in particular, I'm going to talk about one of my protocols, which is intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting. We do hydrogen-rich water is one of our protocols to escalate the weight loss and to hydrate ourselves at the cellular level. We do intermittent fasting, and prolonged fasting is our second protocol. And then we do the third protocol, which is an anti-inflammatory diet. You guys know it as a ketogenic diet. That's the third one. So you can see all three of these are designed to do what? They're designed to help you lose that belly fat or body fat, and they're designed to control the hormones that are causing you to gain the weight or causing you to have a hard time losing the weight. Guys, sit back and think about this. Those of you that have tried the Western diet so many times and have failed, why are you going back to it? It's not going to work. Doesn't it make sense that could it be that maybe there's a imbalance of hormones causing you to have the cravings when you're dieting? Because that's why most of you are going to fail, because it's not doable. It's not flexible. And you're going to always be hungry all the time because you have not trained the body to burn, and this is what we're trying to get to. You want to get, this is the goal. This is your whole goal. Get yourself fat adapted. Understand what fat adaptation means. And when you fully understand that, and that's my job. That's my job to teach you what fat adaptation is. It's my job to get you into that state so that you don't have the cravings. And you'll always be able to do this lifestyle for the rest of your life. It is very, very flexible and very, very simple. Now, of course, if you notice that if you're following me, you hear me talk about prolonged fastings. Now, the advantage of a prolonged fast, which means you're not consuming any calories at all, period, for a certain amount of time. Okay, it could be for 16 hours, and then you have an 8-hour window. It could be for 18 hours. Now, the prolonged fasting, in my opinion, I'm talking about 18-hour fastings, 20-hour fasting with a 4-hour window, a 24-hour fasting, and a 48-hour fasting. Those are, I consider, in my opinion, are prolonged fastings. And the health benefits when you go to an 18-hour and then to a 20, and you mix them up, the health benefits are incredible because the bodies were designed to fast in the first place. It's the body's way to heal itself. It's the gut's way to heal itself, and it's the way to balance your hormones out. And that's the whole idea here. I laugh about this because I'm seeing all these gurus, these weight loss gurus on YouTube and stuff, and there's only a couple that teach this because it all is about balance. It's all about hormonal balance because you got to control the hormone, and the hormone that's causing it is insulin. That's your issue. Okay, but what happens is we explain to our clients that we want to get them acclimated to do a prolonged fasting. That means an 18-hour fasting or a 20-hour fasting or a 24-hour fasting. We want to get their bodies acclimated to that. Now, we don't do it right off the bat. That's a mistake people make. They try to do these prolonged fastings right off the bat when they've never fasted before, and that's wrong. You're going to fail. You won't be successful at all, period. So don't try that. You got to start with small steps, okay? And that's where a coach comes in. That's what a coach will do. He will take you and get your body acclimated to doing these prolonged fasting because there's factors involved, and you need to understand that. Like I said, everything I'm telling you here is all science-backed. It's not me. Actually, science has done research on this for years, but you don't know about it yet. So that's why we're here to teach you that. But the biggest mistake when somebody is doing a prolonged fast, who is ready to do a prolonged fast, is their last meal of the day. That, to me, seems to be where people make the biggest mistakes, is that they're not eating enough good fats at their last meal of the day, because that last meal of the day sets you up for your prolonged fast the next day. Let me give you guys an example. For us, like today, Emily and I ate our last meal last night at about 6 o'clock, okay? And we had a cauliflower pizza, okay? A ketogenic cauliflower pizza. But I had to add good dietary fat to it to bring the fat up even more. Because, you know, what my balance is, or what I go by, is I do about 80 grams of protein a day. That's all. I don't need to do a lot of protein. I'm gaining, you know, we are actually still adding lean muscle. But I want my, and this is just a rough, I want my grams of fat, good fat, about double that. So I want my good grams of fat to be about 160 grams. That's what I'm looking for. So during the day, during my eating window, when I'm not fasting, I have to add more fat to the day. And I've got some stuff here that I'll show you what I'm talking about that you can add to your last meal of the day to bring the fat up a little bit higher to make sure. Now this is something you guys, some of you guys might be thinking that, okay, if you're doing a 20-hour fast and you're only eating 2 meals a day, well then you're not bringing in enough calories. So your metabolism is going to shut down and slow down. No, it does not work that way. When your body when your body becomes fat adapted and you're burning primarily fat as fuel, then what's going to happen is you're actually taking a lot of calories. You've got a ton of calories sitting there as stored fat. Isn't that what you want to burn off anyway? I think so. But you got a ton of calories there. So just remember this. Carbohydrates only have 4 calories per gram. Meat only has 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram. Do you see what I mean? If you're overweight, look at all those calories you got sitting in the bank. Now, the whole idea is to take those and burn them, right? So if you're doing a 20-hour fast or an 18-hour fast, and you're 80% fat consumption as your 80% fat, your 15% moderate protein or low protein, and your 5% carbs, mainly veggie carbs. Well, if you're 80% fat and that's what you're consuming, that's a whole lot of calories. You see how that works out? So you're not losing calories. You think you are, but you're not. You got plenty of calories sitting there in your fat stores. So let's use them up. We don't need to consume that much food that you think you do. You have so many calories sitting there. And that's what I'm talking about. Fat adaptation. When you've actually got your body do that, the body doesn't automatically go into fat adaptation. It doesn't work that way. You got to teach it. It takes time. Okay? And that means you've got to go on a high good fat diet. You got to go on an anti-inflammatory diet like I'm talking about. Okay? But let's go back to what I mean about failing doing a prolonged fast, about why people fail, on why they can't make an 18-hour fast or a 20-hour fast or a 24-hour fast, and why people are texting me saying, Bill, this is ridiculous. I'm doing a 20-hour fast and I have 0 cravings at all. And they still have it in their mind. Well, why is that, Bill? Why? I just explained it to you. Because you're grabbing a lot of your calories from your stored fat. That's fuel, and that's exactly what you're looking to do anyway. And your body's satisfied because it's got plenty of calories. So it doesn't need to be, it's not hungry. It's not craving. Like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. You got to teach the body to do that. And that's why a coach is very important. So you don't get confused, you don't get frustrated. You've got a meal plan, you've got a game plan, you know exactly what good fats are, you know exactly what good fats to add to a meal if you need to, or what good fats to add during the day to keep your fat up high and to keep you in ketosis. You've got a coach that will walk you through all this. And by the end of our 90 days, you're an expert on all 3 of the protocols. You will totally understand and see the transformation when you do this. But you got to have patience, you got to be consistent, and you got to be coachable, and you got to return my texts. That's another issue. People don't come back to me when I ask them questions. So, biggest mistake, guys, just like the topic says, that people do not know how to add more fat to the last meal of the day. The last meal of the day is one of the most important meals if you're going to be doing an 18 or a 20 or a 24-hour fast, you've got to add more fat. Now, how do I add more fat to my last meal? Well, I'm going to give you some examples here. So now, my last meals of the day are always going to be a anti-inflammatory diet meal or a ketogenic meal. It's always going to be higher fat meals. And I'm not talking about meat as being the majority of the high fat. No, wrong. A true anti-inflammatory diet is moderate to low protein. You're not going to get the majority of your fat from the protein. Animal meat protein, if it's too high, causes issue with the kidneys and causes issues with the gut. It overworks them both. And that's not good for you anyway. I'm talking about dietary fats, good ones. And this is how I do it. Now, say for example, I'm going to have, I'm going to have a 3 ounce of a turkey burger or 3 ounce of a grass-fed hamburger. Let's go with that because beef hamburger is actually got more fat in it than turkey burgers. So, but I'm going to do grass-fed. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do 3 ounces. So on my plate, I'll have a 3 ounce patty. Now I will add 4 to 5 of these stuffed olives that we have here in Temecula at the Temecula Olive Company. Now the olives are stuffed with Parmesan and Ramona cheese stuffed. Okay, see them? That's what I'm sold. I'm going to add 4 or 5 of these to my plate. Okay, then I'm going to add a half of avocado also. So I'm going to have a half of avocado. Okay, I may add pecans. These are pecans. These are my baked, on my recipe, I explain why I bake them. But I bake them. I may add 6 to 10 of these on my plate to add more what? More dietary fat if I need to. If I like almonds, I do the same with almonds. There's my almonds. Baked. I always bake them because when you bake them and you put butter, you bake them with butter and sea salt, it breaks, as you chew it, it breaks it down even more so it's easy for the gut to digest. But then I'm also going to take a tablespoon of MCT oil just before I have my meal. Now, if I have a salad, I'm going to add my MCT oil, a tablespoon of MCT oil to the salad to bring the fat up. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of chia to my salad to bring the fat up because chia's got good fat in it and it's got a good source of protein. And I'll throw in some olives to add the fat in the salad. And I always have an avocado. All my meals, every one of my meals, guys, I have a half of avocado. So I'll probably have a whole avocado per day, okay? Now, if I do a protein drink, on my recipe form, there's a recipe on protein. My protein is going to have, I'm going to do a cup of, it's called nut milk, high fat. I'm going to do a cup of kefir. It's got fat in it. I'm going to do a tablespoon of peanut butter. It's got fat in it. I'm going to put a tablespoon of MCT oil. It's got fat in it. I'm going to put a tablespoon of chia seeds. It's got fat in it. I'm going to put a half of avocado in that protein drink. It's got fat. And then I'm going to put my 1 scoop of veggie protein powder and my 1 scoop of collagen in there. And then I'm going to put 5 ice cubes and blend it up with a cup of raw spinach. Now that is a great way to finish or to have as a meal, or even better, that could be your first meal. But you see how I added fat to it? I want to make sure my fat is 80%. You see what I'm saying here, guys? And there's all kinds of different ways to add fat. Now, when you're cooking your meats or you're stir-frying your veggies, coconut oil. You can use olive oil. But if I do know that if olive oil gets too high of a temperature in the pan, it starts to go bad. Coconut oil can take the heat, so I would recommend coconut oil to cook everything in. Okay, and you can cook with butter, real butter. Real butter is another way to add good fat to your diet, to your meal. Now, for me, if I decide to have broccoli, I will take real butter and I will melt it, put it into a small bowl, and I will dip my broccoli in that butter to add more good fat. See, there's all kinds of different ways. You just have to be creative. But the biggest mistake I see is people don't add enough good fat. They think they are, but either they're lazy or I don't know why. Because like I said, I have all this stuff here, all this. Nere's a dip. This is a great dip I got from a friend of ours that she got at the Temecula Olive Company. You can take this dip, which is an olive oil dip with Parmesan cheese dip, use celeries. We went out to dinner with some friends of ours and we ordered a cream spinach and said, don't bring the chips. So we had celeries instead, and it tasted great. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we added more fat. Now, obviously, when we do a 20-hour fast, Emily and I, we're going to do a meal at 20 hours, which will be my protein drink, because that seems to, when I do prolonged fasting, a protein drink is very easy on my gut, and it's very easy to digest, and the nutrients are getting into my body very quickly, because I train on an empty stomach, and so we train in the morning, and I'll wait about an hour after I train, and then I'll have my protein drink. But it seems that my body really enjoys that protein drink, and especially for recovery, when I'm training hard, that it gets into my cells at the cellular level very quickly. Plus, we have very healthy guts, because Emily and I have been doing kefir for a long, long time. And those of you that know what kefir is, that is the most potent, the best, and the freshest probiotics you can possibly put in your body. And it's not a pill form, it's not a powder form, it's alive, homemade probiotics, and it's got massive amounts of B vitamins. And how do I know that my gut's healthy? Because when you do a blood test, my B vitamins are spectacular. Because I don't take hardly any supplements enough. A couple I do recommend, but as far as vitamins, minerals, and probiotics, no, I don't take any of that stuff. Anyway, it's too expensive. I want the real stuff, okay? And so, when we're setting up for a 24-hour fast, we do every Monday, we make sure that our last meal of the day is going to have a lot of good fat to it. Because that way, when we're doing our 24-hour fasting, we don't have cravings of carbohydrates. We don't have cravings of sugar. We don't have cravings of starchy foods. We don't have those cravings. We've been doing this for a while, and we're both fat adapted. And you also will become fat adapted if you follow the 3 protocols to the T. How long does it take to become fat adapted? That depends on you. It could take 3 weeks, it could take 4 weeks, it could take 6 weeks. It all depends on you and how patient you are and how consistent you are. And if you go through my recipes and pick out the different meals that you might enjoy, and if you're using different ways to bring the fat up at each meal, then it's going to happen hopefully in 3 to 4 weeks. Now, what happens during during that eating window when I'm not eating? How do I add more fat to my diet? Say I had my first meal of the day at 20 hours, and then for 4 hours I'm not going to eat anything. How am I going to add more fat to my diet to make sure that I've had enough fat that day to carry me over? Well, I take coconut cream. There it is, right there. I love coffee. I'll have 2 cups of coffee during my eating window at least. And each time I put I put a tablespoon of coconut cream in my coffee, and it gives it flavor. But it's also upping my fat for the day. Sometimes if I feel like doing MCT oil, I'll do that. But there's no taste to it, but it is a great source of good fat. I will do that also. Now, for those of you that might be at work or traveling, what you do is go to Trader Joe's, buy a box of their coconut oil that are in little packets, okay? You can take these little packets, put five or six of them in a plastic sandwich bag, put it in your backpack or your purse. So if you're out and about and you're going to stop and get coffee and it's in your eating window, take one packet of the coconut oil, put it in your coffee, and you're going to add good fat for the day to make sure you're getting enough fat that day, because that's the key. Are you getting enough fat that day? Those of you that get hungry 4 to 5 or 6 hours after your last meal, you have not eaten enough good fat, and that's why you're hungry again. Okay? Plus, you're probably not fat adapted yet either, but mainly because you have not had enough fat that day. Now, sometimes I might be out and about, and if I don't have any little packets of coconut oil, then I'll ask them to put a tablespoon or 2 cubes of butter in my coffee. But these baked almonds and baked pecans, I carry a bunch in my backpack also. So if I'm out and about and I want to snack on something while I'm drinking my coffee, I'll have 10 or 12 of these almonds or pecans, because I need to add more fat to my diet, and plus I felt like chomping on some. So instead of me chomping on some kind of sugar food or candy, or if you go to Starbucks and you get those pumpkin breads or whatever, I have my baked nuts, and sometimes I'll even carry some devil's eggs just to carry around. I'll do that. See, there's another way to add good fat. Always, if you're going to do a salad, always add at least 2 hard-boiled eggs to it. That's going to not only give you good fat, that's also going to give you one of the best sources of protein in your salad. Always put that in there, along with your avocados. Always have that. Now, you guys, if you go out to dinner, you can have a chicken salad with chicken in it, or you can have a steak salad. That's fine, because that's a source of fat and protein. So those of you that are making a salad at home, always have a couple of hard-boiled eggs. Okay, guys? Okay, guys, so that's my tip on how to be successful if you're going to do an 18-hour fast or a 20-hour fast or a 24-hour fast, is to make sure that you're getting enough good fat throughout the day to carry you the next day when you're doing your prolonged fast. By doing it this way, you're not only going to put yourself into ketosis much deeper, but you're going to be into fat burning much deeper, and you're going to be able to be successful doing the 18-hour fasting. Now, a lot of people will start out at 16 hours. The comments that I've been getting over the last couple of years is that they see their transformation changing much quicker when they're doing the prolonged fastings like the ones I'm suggesting, 18 hours and the 20 hours. The 16 hours are good. You're still going to get the results, but they're not going to be as fast. It seems like that trigger for the body to really burn fat seems to be at 18 hours. And what I mean that is during that 18 hours, 0 calories, black coffee, nothing in it, no MCT oil, no coconut cream, no coconut oil, and no butter. Plain old black coffee. But if you don't like coffee and you like tea, black tea, unsweetened. But the key factor is, during a long fast, are you drinking enough water? And are you combining pink sea salt with the water? Because one of the best ways, or one of the easiest way to be successful in your prolonged fast is by keeping the electrolytes up high at the cellular level and balanced during the fasting. When you're doing a prolonged fast, you're losing a lot of water, which means you're losing a lot of minerals at the cellular level. You've got to replace them. And I'm talking about drinking hydrogen-rich water that has natural electrolytes in them, not man-made. So you guys are drinking bottled water or tap water or essential water like this or Aquafina or Dasani. All you're doing is drinking contaminated water with no electrolytes in it. I don't care what the bottle says. It does not have electrolytes in it at all. Then I can prove it by testing it. You go back to my YouTube channel. Type in Bill Mabry. Subscribe to it. Look for the video where I'm testing these waters, and it proves that they're contaminated and there's no electrolytes in them. When you're doing a prolonged fast, you got to be drinking a gallon of hydrogen-rich water throughout the day, but you actually have to add pink Himalayan sea salt to the water 2 to 3 times a day. That's our trick. That's what we teach our people. When they just first start off at doing a prolonged fast, that's the key and that's the trick. If they get a slight hunger wave, that's what we call it, then we tell them, you're not hungry, you are thirsty, and your electrolytes are low. What do? We want you to get a big glass of hydrogen-rich water that's already got natural electrolytes, but on top of that, we want you to take a 1/4 teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt along with your water, and it will knock that hunger wave right out, and you're not hungry. Sometimes people have to do this twice a day. Sometimes people have to do it 3 times a day. When we're doing a 48-hour fast, sometimes I got to do it 3 times a day. Pink Himalayan sea salt's not going to hurt you. You're not going to overdose, so don't worry about it. Anyway, it's only a 1/4 teaspoon per time. And chances are you guys are already depleted from electrolytes in the first place because you're drinking this crap. You're drinking these alkaline waters that you're buying at the health food stores thinking that they're full of electrolytes because they say it on there. They're not. They're lying. They're misleading you. We've proved it. Go to my video. You'll see. Okay? So guys, that's your tip for the day. This is 2019. You really want to get focused on losing that belly fat or body fat. You want to do it right. You want to save money. And you want to stay off for the rest of your life. Message me. Let me send you my information on how our 90-day online personal coaching works. You know what, guys? It's what if? I mean, from what I've told you so far, doesn't it make sense that you might want to try this because you guys already know that the Western diet's not going to work? It has never worked. Everybody fails on it. So why should you be the one that failed? What if? And plus, you're going to get educated. And like I said, you're saving money because you're doing intermittent prolonged fasting. Wow. Think about that one. And you're not buying supplements. How much money are you spending on those supplements every single day? Probably quite a bit. You're not buying that. Okay, guys? So, guys, I hope you guys have a great 2019 year. 19. I hope you guys will message me, get the information so we can get your 2019 started right and get you guys ready for the summer or get you ready for whatever else. It's not all about just losing the body fat or belly fat, guys. These 3 protocols have got some huge health benefits to it also. Anybody that has any kind of medical issue or disease like anything, like cancer, type 2 diabetes, or dementia, or Alzheimer's, or acid reflux, or stomach issues. You guys, all 3 of these protocols are known by science to be able to help with those also. You just got to give it a chance. I mean, obviously, if you're still having issues, it's been 4, 5, 6 years, 10 years, maybe you should change what you're doing and try something else. You think that might be a good idea? I think so. So guys, you have a great day, and we'll see you guys at our next video. Have a great one. Bye.